there's a chain reaction that happens which causes a hammer to strike the strings. Most of the keys strike 3 strings at a time. For lower notes, they strike 2 strings, and the lowest notes only 1 string. The lower notes don't have as many strings because the strings are thicker, so they produce more sound. The motion of the hammer involves a chain reaction. Let's take a look at just one of the keys. This mechanism is referred to as the piano action. Let's break this down piece by piece. Pressing the key causes the lever to go up and down, just like a seesaw. This next piece is called the whippen. It's pinned in place at the end, which allows it to rotate. Of course, it's not actually floating. It's attached to a long bar that spans the length of the piano. The repetition lever is pinned to the top of the whippen. The top of the lever hits this screw, causing it to rotate just slightly. There's another bar holding this piece in place. The repetition lever has a hole allowing for another piece to go right through. This piece is called the jack. It is pinned to the right of the whippen. As it goes up, the toe hits this cylinder, causing it to rotate. Once again, another bar holds this in place. Notice at the end of the motion, the jack sticks out a little up here. And finally, we have the hammer. The top of the jack is what gives the hammer the final push. The harder a key is pressed, the harder the hammer hits the strings, which means a louder noise. This also means that if you press the key soft enough, you won't hear any sound. Notice how a key can be pressed repeatedly and the hammer still works. This piece is called the damper. You can see that it actually rests on the strings. Pressing the key causes the damper to rise, which allows the string to vibrate. But as soon as you release the key, the damper comes back down and stops the sound. Okay, now imagine this hammer mechanism 88 times. One thing you'll notice is that the highest notes actually don't have dampers. This is because the sound fades away so quickly that the dampers don't really make a difference. Now you know how the keys work, but there's a lot more to the grand piano. Join me in part 2 and I'll show you what the foot pedals do and how they work on the inside. I'm Jared Owen, thanks for watching. Welcome to part 2 of how does a grand piano work. We've seen what happens when a key is pressed. In this video, I'll show you what the foot pedals do and how they work on the inside. That's coming up. At the bottom of the piano, you'll find the 3 foot pedals. These are used to change the sound of the piano in different ways. The left one is called the una corda pedal, or more commonly known as the soft pedal. The middle one is called the sostenuto pedal, and the right one is called the sustain pedal, also known as the damper pedal. Each pedal is pinned in place. Pressing it down causes the other side to go up, which causes the rods to go up too. You can see that the rods affect several mechanisms that extend inside the piano. Let's go through each pedal to show you what it does and how it works. When the sustain pedal is pressed, you'll continue to hear the sound even after the keys are released. The sound will then stop once you release the pedal. If we look up here, you can see something is happening. Press the sustain pedal, release the sustain pedal. If you remember from part 1 of this video, this part is called the damper. When a key is pressed or released, the damper is raised or lowered just for that one string. Down here is called the damper lift rail. When it is raised, it pushes up all of the dampers. This means you'll continue to hear the sound even after individual keys are released. Let's take a look underneath the piano now. Pressing the sustain pedal causes this rod to go up. The rod pushes this lever up. You can see this spring here keeps it pressed down most of the time. The lever then causes another rod to get pushed up inside the piano. This causes the damper lift rail to rise, which then raises all of the dampers. The sostenuto pedal is similar to the sustain pedal, but it only raises the dampers for keys that are being played at that time. Let me show you. Play some keys, press the sostenuto pedal, and now release the keys. You can see the dampers for these keys are still up. That's why we can still hear the sound. Release the sostenuto pedal, and the dampers go down again. Let's get a good look without the action assembly. This bar here is called the sostenuto bar. If I were to cut it in half, this is what the cross section would look like. When the sostenuto pedal is pressed, it will rotate like this. On each individual damper, there's a tiny piece of felt sticking out. So we play some keys, press the sostenuto pedal, and when we release the keys, the dampers catch on the bar. Let's watch that again. The mechanism is similar to what we've seen before. When the pedal is pressed, it raises this rod which pushes on another lever. This time the lever is pinned in the middle. As this side goes up, the other side comes down, which pulls this rod down from inside the piano. This rod comes down, which rotates the bar and catches the dampers. Pretty neat, huh? The soft pedal, as you might guess, well, it makes the piano softer. When you press it, the whole keyboard is shifted to the right. Let's take a look up here. Normally, the hammer hits all 3 strings. With the damper pedal pressed, the hammers are moved over just enough so they hit only 2 of the strings. This gives each note a softer sound. And now for the mechanism. Pressing the soft pedal raises a rod and another lever. You can see this lever is a bit longer. It has a piece that goes up into the piano. As the lever is lifted, the end is shifted over just slightly. This causes the entire action assembly to move by just a touch. It's just enough so the hammers miss a string. Incredible music can be created by playing the piano keys in combination with the pedals at just the right time. Hey everyone, I'm Jared. I'm the guy that makes these animations. If you learned something about the piano, I would love to hear about it in the comments. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Thật là đói quá đi. Cô chào hiệp sĩ, bạn thật tốt bụng. Với số tiền này mình sẽ đủ cho một bữa nhậu say đây. Nói thế thôi tôi sẽ chọn mua đất. Bây giờ tôi phải làm ruộng.
I've been playing the piano for over 20 years now, and I realized that beyond understanding the very basic, the very surface levels of how a piano works, I'm quite clueless. So recently